नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं मुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः गुरुवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas, thank you for those who joined for the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. We are reading Canto 8, Chapter 19, entitled Sri Vamanadeva begs charity from Bali Maharaj. So we are almost towards the end of this chapter. Just the last two verses we will read today and do a quick summary and some reflections on this chapter. So far, Shukracharya, the seminal guru, has been recommending, don't give charity to him. You will lose a lot. Lot of reasons, lot of comments. Let's study the last two verses and see what Shukracharya is saying here. Text 42. Yes, Jyoti Mataji, you want to read?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranams to all the assembled devotees. Text 42. Atetat purnam abhyatmam yachaneti anartham vachaha sarvam neti anartham bruyat sadushkirtihi swashanvritaha. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charna Ravinda Shri A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, the safe course is to say no. Although it is a falsehood, it protects one completely. It draws the compassion of others towards oneself, and it gives one full facility to collect money from others for oneself. Nonetheless, if one always pleads that he has nothing, he is condemned, for he is a dead body while living, or while still breathing, he should be killed. Purport. Beggars always present themselves as possessing nothing, and this may be very good for them because in this way they are assured of not losing their money and of always drawing the attention and compassion of others for the sake of collection. But this is also condemned. If one purposely continues this professional begging, he is supposed to be dead while breathing, or according to another interpretation, such a man of falsity should be killed while still breathing. The Vedic injunction in this regard is as follows. Ataitat purnam abhyatmam yanneti sayat sarvam neti bhruyat papikasya kirtir jayate sainam tatraiva hanyat. If one continuously poses himself as possessing nothing and collects money by begging, he should be killed. Sainam tatraiva hanyat. Back to you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
You want to share any comments, Mataji?
Prabhupada is in the purport, he's telling that while breathing, if one is begging for anything or just to collect money, then that is as good as dead, and he should be immediately killed. So my understanding is, like, till your last breath, you have to strive not only to for your material needs, but also towards attaining your spiritual goals. That much only I can think of, Prabhuji. Over to you for elaboration and commenting. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Nandini Mataji wants to share something on this verse, is there?
No, Prabhu, I can read the next one. That's why my hand is raised.
This verse is quite important. Shukracharya at one point is saying, it's okay to say no, because he has given like 9 different reasons with elaborate logical background and Shastra Praman also, right? We discussed that from Shastras that it's safe to say no. Although it's a false statement, although it's false, but it will kind of protect you. And actually, the many people follow this thing that even after having, they'll say, "Well, I have nothing. I'm so poor. Look at my condition. I'm the most poor of it." What will they may attract artificial sympathy by telling false statements like this. So this the scripture, even Shukracharya is telling that this is not the right thing. If he is that he, if one always pleads like this, that he has nothing, I'm poor, sorry, I don't have anything. For the materialistic thing I have a lot, but for giving charity, sorry, I don't have anything. He is condemned. For he is a dead body while living. And the scriptures say while still breathing he should be killed. That's quite strong statement. In short, we should never say no to help others, especially for spiritual causes. We have discussed that. Whether it's a small or big, that we can do based on our situations, but we should try to do our best for devotees, for Krishna, and for Krishna conscious causes. Especially if Krishna has given us, because ultimately everything belongs to Him only. Wealth, intelligence, resources, home, car, property, etc. We stamp it as ours, we sign it as ours, but ultimately it's His only. It is the false conception that I have something to give others. Because who am I to give others? Because everything is His only. So it must be used for His service and His devotee service. That's the real understanding. So in short, when we see that we're talking about Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya never used to say no. Lord Chaitanya was a Brahmana, even as a householder, was a Brahmana family, simple family. He had not yet revealed his supremacy as Lord. But whenever there was a chance to serve the devotees, he would never say no. Although they didn't have a very big house, they didn't have, tons of granaries and stuff. But somehow Krishna arranged, and at times a lot of devotees would come all together, but they'll always be eager to serve. I was reading a book or hearing a lecture about this is little, here with little caution, little too much. This Rasikananda Prabhu, the disciple of Shyamanand Prabhu, who was the disciple of Gauridas or Hridaya Chaitanya. So basically a contemporary of Nityam Das Thakur, approximately. There is still the Shyamanand Prabhu's temple is there in Vrindavan, Radha Shyam Sundar. So the point is, this disciple, Rasikananda, was such a great soul that one time his wife said, devotees were there at 2 a.m. in the midnight, they were hungry, and the wife kind of did not like the idea of serving them, devotees. And Shaman Prabhu said, well, you have more attachment towards your own family or your son will die. Telling to his own wife, basically, that our son will die. So that was when the son died. That how dare you said no to chance to serve devotees. You don't fit to be in this human form of life. You're too attached to your own self. Of course, great souls, it's hard to comprehend. Vaishnava Kriya Mudra Bhigyana Bujai. But I recently heard that. So I thought to share a little too extreme. But the point is that we must try our best to serve devotees. And especially having and saying no, that's very, we just read that What's the reaction? What's the so one should not do that. That's what Shastra is teaching. Yes, Nandini Mataji, you can read the next verse, please.
Hare Krishna devotees, Sandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. All praise to Srila Prabhupada. Text number 43. Strishu narma vivahe cha vrityarthe prana sankate go brahmanarthe himsaya nanrutam syaju jugupsitam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. In flattering a woman to bring her under control, in joking, in a marriage ceremony, in earning one's livelihood, when one's life is in danger, in protecting cows and Brahminical culture, or in protecting a person from an enemy's hand, falsity is never condemned. Purport. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 8th canto, 19th chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled Lord Vamanadeva begs charity from Bali Maharaj. So here Shukracharya is ending his arguments with this last line, I believe, that there are so many times you can justify. They say you can justify, a person who has the wrong interest, he will try to justify anything. So here is the culmination of Shukracharya's all the hypotheses against giving charity, and they are flattering a woman, joking, marriage ceremony, earning one's livelihood, if one's life is in danger, especially in protecting cows, in protecting persons from enemy's hand. So all this seems shastrically correct, but they're used against Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the saddest part. Back to you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Dandavats.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. So, yeah, there are statements in the Shastra, and of course, which Shastra we are referring to will also kind of change the whole story. So, there are a lot of flowery words in the Shastras, but as Vaishnavas, we have to see what we have to follow and what we have to reject. Now, earning, for example, telling lie and earning one's livelihood. Prabhupada also gives this example, like, for example, a businessman. Let's say he has a shop, of clothes shop. He'll say, well, I bought this for $20 and I'm selling this to you for $20. I'm not making any margins there, right? Well, we all know that it's a lie, correct? If he has to pay the shop rent or mortgage, he has to pay the electricity bill, the shopkeepers and the workers and the people working, and how will he feed the family and whatnot? He's not buying for $20 and selling for $20. And how will he run the shop? How will he run the business? So that's that lie is fine. But again, and therefore anything pretty much in this world is tinged with lie. But that doesn't mean that we can take to the other extreme and just say the whole earnings are based on lie only. That means like gambling, cheating others, etc. So that should be certainly, one should not take it to the other extreme. Example, in marriage also lie. If the marriage is based on lies, then the marriage will not last actually. Right? I mean, if someone tells totally false things before marriage and after the marriage, I mean, nowadays, earlier probably the question of divorce was not there. Now so many marriages end up in divorce because of the wrong foundation, materialistic foundation. Well, in protecting cows, certainly we know that story, and the famous, when the person was there in the middle of the road and then the butcher was running after the cow, the person was asked, where did the cow go? Did the cow go left? Did the cow go right? The cow actually went left, but this person said the cow went right. So that's good. Brahminical culture, protecting from a person from the enemy's hand. The famous story, Kamsa was about to kill his own sister. At that time, no, he said, "I will get you all the sons," which he didn't lie actually, which Vasudeva Maharaj did bring the sons when they were born. That, my sister is not your enemy. Why are you trying to kill her? This famous story. So look at the extent of his. So even if he would have said lie, that was fine at that time. But to protect someone from enemy's hand. So the point here is that it should be, that doesn't mean that we can blindly use these in any or every situation. It should be certainly what is lie, what is dharma, what is dharma. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranito. If Krishna says you lie, that becomes truth. Yudhishtira Maharaj, famous example. Ashwathama hata. When the elephant Ashwathama was dead, Yudhishtira Maharaj was told, you said Ashwathama is killed. And then he said it, but didn't say it. He said, Ashwathama hata narova kunjova. I don't know if it was Nara or elephant, Kunja. And at that point, his chariot came down. The chariot, Dharmaraj Yudhishthira's chariot was always a few inches above the ground. But he didn't follow what Krishna said. He said the truth, but it became a lie because he didn't say what Krishna wanted him to say. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranito. So that's about this chapter. Now we can take a quick summary. I guess we have some time.
I have one.
Yeah.
In this particular translation, some of it is, maybe I'm confusing the positive and negative. I don't know. In a marriage ceremony, if someone makes a false statement, that's not good, right? I mean, we don't want that. So why does it say falsity never?
Yes,
Hare Krishna,
Mataji.
Prabhu Dandavat Pranam. It's saying in the ceremony, it's not saying to fix a marriage. So in marriage ceremony, one may say, oh, the bridegroom is so great and this, all that, or this lady is so great. But they will know each other's valid points. Does that make sense? Just in front of people.
I don't agree. It's not. There's something, it's okay.
So probably like sometimes say the girl is fair, but boy is fair, might not be that fair. So this type of those are acceptable during marriage ceremony or in love affairs.
Okay, you're saying the marriage ceremony itself, it's all in good faith, but there are some silly things that you may lie about. Something like that? Yeah, this okay, it's all right.
And we have to also understand that this is not the best of the teaching. Shukracharya is quoting to defend his own position actually.
Yeah, okay.
So this is not the highest dharma he is teaching. I mean, if we go word to word, if we try to follow this, the whole intention, look at the intention. The content is one thing, but the intent is to don't serve Vishnu and to serve me, because I'm your main employee. If you get bankrupt, how will I be employed? That's the main intention. So when the person has self-interest, one can defend oneself with any kind of judgments, in any kind of shastra also. That's a lesson that in times when we don't have the right intentions, then we'll be misguided, and also we will find, oh, Prabhupada says this. Look at, we can quote Prabhupada and defend our own misguided intentions.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, no, I understand what I think the the way it is stated, one can interpret it as I have done wrongly. So, okay, thank you.
Yeah, there are a lot of verses in this which are based on the Shukracharya's sense gratification attitude. So that we certainly have to avoid. We don't have to follow that. Correct? We don't have to follow. I mean, he's telling here, well, half of the wealth is used for sense gratification. That's not the Bhagavad Dharma.
Yeah, okay. And now I understand. It is what Sukracharya is saying. So
Right.
he's satisfying his own self-interest in a way.
But he's quoting some scriptures because he's very learned in scriptures.
Yeah.
Like he quoted Bhagvat Smriti, it's a Bhavricha Smriti, etc. to defend his arguments. But this is the main point here, which we'll see in the next chapter. To reject the so-called Kaitava Dharma, the so-called Upanishad, the so-called Guru, which, whether it's so-called Guru, so-called Shastra, which don't take us to the right conclusion. And the great Mahajan, Bali Maharaj, we'll see later, will reject all that, in spite of hearing from Shukracharya.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Okay, anyone? Okay, yeah, we were on the kind of summary. This chapter is complete. So Vamanadeva praises Bali Maharaj. Vamanadeva was very, very happy and satisfied. That's how this chapter starts. And because Bali Maharaj gave him a very good reception, greeted him, gave him nice, welcoming, kind words, suswagatam, garland, ending with nice words, and then asked, so Bali Maharaj told that maybe what do you want from me? You want some good wife, some drinks, some wealth, gold, what do you want? And this chapter begins at this point that Vamanadeva was very, very satisfied at the guest reception of Bali Maharaj. And he said he first glorified. He glorified Bali Maharaj to any extent. And he glorified that how you are so truthful, how you are so worthy, your dynasty is great, you are very superior, and you are no one in your family is very miser, poor. They're all very charitable, very kind. And he talks about Hiranyaksha, that how he had a great fight with Varahadev. Even Varahadev thought that, well, I can't kill him. So with great difficulty, they've had a battle. And then Hiranyakashipu was running after Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu escaped and entered in his heart, fearing of Hiranyakashipu. Right? So the Lord is glorifying. And the word, very nice word is used is Vigata Cheta, Vivigna Cheta. The Lord is anxious for his devotees. So the Lord said that thought, Hiranyakashipu will not search me outside. Let me go inside his heart to give my mercy to him. The Lord is anxious for his devotees. So, and then Vamanadeva also glorifies Virochana, the father of Bali, and also Prahlad Maharaj, the grandfather. And Vamanadeva also glorifies Bali Maharaj. So, then finally, this chapter, the title is Bali Vamanadeva begs charity. So, Vamanadeva now asks for 3 steps of land, basically. And then that section is very, very, the conversation between Bali Maharaj and Vamanadeva is very, very powerful. So when Vamanadeva asked 3 steps of land, and that to my measurement, not the measurement of some big gigantic person, just my measurement. And you are the king of the world, you can easily give. So there's an important point there about extravagance we discussed. The root cause of distress is extravagance. People buy things which they don't need to impress. People buy things to impress the people they don't like with the money which they don't have. And then they end up in suffering. And the things that they don't need anyways. So that's extravagance. So then Lord Vamanadeva thought, well, this child is so young, sweet, beautiful, but he doesn't have a lot of good intelligence. His intelligence is balo balishi matihi. His intelligence is like a child, like childlike. They will not know. If they have a big iPhone, $1,000, and you give them a 50-cent candy, they'll say, give me the iPhone, I'll give you this candy. They'll take it. They'll exchange that. but an intelligent person will not exchange it, right? He says this is 50 cents and this is $1,000. Why will I exchange? No. So Bali Maharaj realized that you're talking, you have come to a multi-billionaire. Ask for something big. Don't ask for a 50-cent thing. I can give you much more. Then those verses 21 to 27 actually are very, very important. We all are troubled by greed. We all are troubled by lust. We all are troubled by desires. So those verses have really very, very nice purports and the meanings. Uncontrolled senses. Those who have uncontrolled senses, even if they get the three worlds, they'll never be satisfied. Even by getting the three worlds. So greed is something which can never be fulfilled. Like we keep adding fuel to the fire. The fire of greed will not be extinguished by adding fuel of desires. By putting the shoes of satisfaction, the thorns of desires will not prick one. So all this, so satisfaction is the cause of happiness, and dissatisfaction or extravagance or too much desires, too much sense gratification is the cause of suffering. Very, very clearly, it's mentioned in multiple purports. Satisfaction leads to all good, all liberation, and dissatisfaction leads to continued birth in this repeated world, in the cycle of birth and death. As Vaishnavas, as Brahmanas, satisfaction leads to increase in the spiritual potency, the spiritual strength, and dissatisfaction, greed, etc., leads to diminishing of the spiritual quality, spiritual potency. So one should be satisfied. One should be satisfied in whatever comes by one's own accord. That means yadrichaya, by what one achieves by destiny. 99.9% of things are destined. So we have to do our dutiful endeavor, not become lazy, not become too much, passionate about, I want to get this. I'll become multi-billionaire. I'll prove to the world I'm so hardworking. And no, whatever has to come will come with the dutiful endeavor. Nash santushta stribhir, and without satisfaction, even by possessing the three worlds, one will not be happy. So lot of purports, lot of beautiful discussion is there that one must be satisfied, and Prabhupada quotes the instructions given by Rishabdev to his children, given by Prahlad Maharaj in Canto 7. So 21 to 27 verses, very, very important. So in short, Vamanadeva says, well, I just want what I want, that is 3 pieces of land, and that to my size. I don't want anything else. I have decided carefully. Lock kiya jaye. Freeze my answer. Okay, then Shukracharya comes into picture. Well, oh my dear Bali. And the scene is that he was about to take a jalabhajana, and that means a water pot, about to take sankalpa of giving charity to Bali Maharaj, Vamanadeva. And then comes on the scene Shukracharya and speaks these on text number 30 to 43, gives 9 reasons primarily, which we have discussed in the last few days, that you don't know his identity. He is not a Brahmana boy, he is the Supreme Lord. And you don't know his purpose. He has not come to beg charity, he has come to basically take away everything and harm the demons. He is a friend of the devotees, the demigods. He's Hari, he'll take everything. But Prabhupada mentions Hari means to take all the distress. He's not there to take, to trouble us. He's our best friend. So he will only take which is not conducive for us. And then how will you live, my dear child? You will take everything. You will not be able to fulfill your promise because in 2 places he'll take everything. In the 3rd place, you won't have anything to give to him. And then what will be the outcome? You will not be able to fulfill your promise. You will go to hell. And even if you have done the promise, it's still not wrong to say no, because it is okay. Because ultimately, what is more important, charity or livelihood? The livelihood is more important, because if there is no livelihood, then there is what's the question of charity? Well, these are Shukracharya's words, so we have to keep in mind. The great souls we have seen, like Bali Maharaj, they give charity by their own cost. and the great souls, we discussed some example. They give their own food in spite of being hungry for 5 days. That's a very high level example. So, but Shukracharya is quoting all these, how to give charity. One should use portion for religion, portion for reputation, portion for one's own opulence, sense gratification, etc. Portion for family. But again, Vaishnava Dharma is everything should be used for Krishna's service. Even if it is used for family, we should think or connect it to Krishna. And then finally, take back your promise. Take back your promise. Body is more important. You won't have the body. You won't live. It's okay to even say false in certain situations, which we're talking about today. And that's the essence. So basically, and we discussed a very important lesson that one can defend oneself by even Shastra, even if one has wrong intentions. One will find those verses. Oh, you didn't say Om. The Bhavricha Smriti says that if you didn't say Om, your promise is null and void. So, as devotees, we don't have to do that, but rather we have to be open-minded and see the holistic picture. Not saying, oh, Prabhupada said eat like a duck, I'll eat like a duck. Oh, Prabhupada said you can eat chocolate, oh, I'll eat chocolate. Oh, Prabhupada said you can drink this, oh, I'll drink. Oh, Prabhupada said don't chant, oh, I'll not chant. So in what setting Prabhupada said, why he said, to whom he said, understanding the context is also important. Now, same, we can't say, oh, here, Bali Shukracharya, the great devotee or the great, guru of Mahajan, Bali Maharaj is telling in the Bhagavata Puran, one should use one's money for sense gratification. That statement is correct, but the intent is totally wrong. Correct? If I just take that statement and broadcast it loudly without context, without reference, the whole meaning will be destroyed. So we have to be careful. Sometimes these statements we may hear, oh, Prabhupada said this, oh, Bhagavatam said this. Therefore we need guide, we need mentors to help us understand things in the right way so that we don't misconclude or misunderstand those. I know it's a little over time, but if anyone has any other comments or additions.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, the previous verse, the last but one verse, that Shukracharya, first he says to say no, and then again he says that if one pleads that he has nothing, he's condemned, then he should be killed while still breathing. So that's too paradoxical. I mean, I didn't get it. Why is he saying to say no, and then he's telling it is as good as being dead while still living?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. I think there is a very critical word there. If one always pleads that he has nothing, so the word always is like, if one time to save one's situation, again, this is Shukracharya's words, not the highest dharma. If one time to save one life and save one's situation, it's a situation of life and death. If one says no, I don't have anything, it's Shukracharya is saying this. We're not saying that we have to follow this. It's okay to say no, but if one says always always bankrupt in spite of having everything, that's a very sad situation. Even Shukracharya is saying, even from that perspective, even from the so-called dharma, one should not say I'm always broke. And every time devotees come and ask for charity, you say, Prabhuji, dhanda I'm fika chal raha hai, I'm not having anything, my family is poor, this is poor. Well, every time, if one time one said, okay, it's understood. If every time one says like that, then that's not the best thing, even from a mundane religion perspective.
So Prabhuji, that no actually for Shukracharya talking about Vamanadeva, that he's came as disguise, he has nothing. That 42 is not referring to Vamanadeva characters, Shukracharya mentioning to Bali Maharaj.
No. He is telling, therefore, the safe course is to say no. That's a translation. although it is false, okay, because Bali has something. Although it is false, it protects one completely. It will protect you. And we discuss the 9 reasons how it will protect Bali. So it is about Bali. It draws the compassion of others. So it is saying if you say no now, then you will be saved, in short. And it will, yeah, so it is basically for Bali Maharaj because Shukracharya is guiding Bali. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, thanks.
But even if he says no, the Supreme Lord knows that he has everything, that he has plenty of wealth.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. That's the whole arrangement of the Lord. You don't have to overcomplicate it, but there's a nice lessons here which we have to draw. Well, by the way, actually, one of my friends in India is a god brother also, but very poor family actually. It's a kind of a sad story, and his sister is getting married, and he is jobless, and just 2 days back he said his father is also seriously sick, and he said if I could help him in some way. I was, very busy in the last 2 days. I said I'll surely try to help you and do something. And then he said that for the sister, he has no job, and then he needs close to 5 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees somehow he has arranged, but a significant amount is still pending. I didn't promise anything that how much I'll be able to help, but I said I'll try my best to help you in my limited capacity, whatever I can, and today only by Krishna's divine arrangement and his father, passed away. So genuinely very, very poor person and no job. Sister is about to get married, and in India, especially in families like these, marriages may get cancelled because of when money is involved. So we certainly don't want that the marriage to get cancelled because of lack of funds, and it's for father situations. So, talking about charity, talking about helping others, and of course, he's a Vaishnava also from Vrindavan, lives in Holy Dham. I'll do my best I can. If someone wants to help, you can help. You can contact me, or if you want to directly kind of transfer to him, I can share the direct details also. No pressure, no, don't feel obligated. This is, of course, it's everyone's free will and choice. But if someone wants to help, you can either contact me and I'll transfer to him the combined amount, or you can directly reach out to him in his India account and help him. Again, just a request, no obligation, no pressure, nothing. It's just a request, and the situation is a little critical. So I want to certainly try what I can within my capacity. So yeah, if anyone wants to help, you please let me know. Any other comments before we pause or end? At least if you can't help in a monetary way, at least pray for the departed soul, his father, and pray that the marriage happens smoothly without any hurdles. Anyone has any comments, any questions, additions?
Today's auspicious day where the Gopinath deity, he takes he saves his devotee by appearing at his Shraddha ceremony. The second I forgot the name of the devotee whose day it is. Hare Krishna, bad memory. Okay, I'll post it. Sorry.
No worries, Matish. I think Vipul Prabhu posted that it is the Govinda Ghosh.
Yes, Prabhuji. Govinda Ghosh.
Yes,
Tomorrow, 4th April.
Today is April's day.
But today is 8th April. Is it correct? No, it is Govind Ghosh 8. Maybe you got from India 4-8 and you put 8-4, something like that. Today is 8th April. So, but yeah, today is Govind Ghosh's disappearance. Perfect. Shri Govinda Ghosh Prabhu ki jai. Granthraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo eva cha. Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavescha.